Here we go. Hi. Coaches coaching, coaches coaching. RJ Rice here. We are on episode 26. And this is a very special episode. And the reason it's so special is because we have one of my favorite people on planet Earth, Brendon Rearick, as a guest speaker. Brendon, how are you?
I'm great, RJ. Thanks for having me. That was a great introduction. I love it.
Was that a good introduction? Brendon Rearick is the co-founder of Movement is Medicine, CFSC, had a big part in MBSC, reads more books than he reads. He probably reads as many books as often as I change underwear. Is that accurate? You read, right? No?
Well, you change your underwear once a week, so I think I've read probably double that.
Perfect. So anyways, Brendon, we're very excited to have you with us. We've had you out here a number of times. A lot of these guys know you personally, and you've been a huge mentor to a lot of our guys. So we're very excited. I wanted to start first with a softball for you, Brendon, and that is you've been to Vasa for how long now? 2 years? Have you been doing this for about 2 years? How many you guys come up?
Yeah, 2 years, and I've been 7 times now.
7 times. All right. So you've met a number of Vasa staff members over the years. So my question to you, Brendon, is who's your favorite?
Oh, man. This is...
We're all watching in anticipation.
Really throwing
Come on.
Bus here.
Come on. We're all here. We're all here. We want to know who's your favorite. Who's your favorite? Come on, Brendon. Come on.
Man, it's gotta be Thane. Absolutely.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
Yep. Just
Brendon! Oh my
Thane's...
gosh! That's a pity. That's a total pity. Oh golly!
I mean, you guys.
All
got
right,
some
let's
work.
get into.
I knew that answer. I
can't believe Thane.
I knew
I'm
that answer would have us
physically ill.
on.
Like I don't even know. I honestly don't even know how we're going to continue doing this. Okay, so anyway, let's get into that stuff here.
I thought he was going to give like a parent answer and like go around the subject and make it all of us. No, he called us out.
No, he totally just was like Thane. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Great. Thane's probably not even on here.
Listen, if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask the question.
But by the way, this is a longer call. We got 50 minutes with Brendon, so I can mess around a little bit more today. Okay, so real talk though. Let's start from the beginning. The love story of Brendon and Kevin. How did it start? And really though, and honestly, how did like Movement is Medicine, Boyle, MBSC, kind of tell us your path a little bit, your journey. Some guys have heard it, most of us haven't. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. So I was in high school. My dream since I had been, 8 years old was to play professional NFL football. And I got into high school and I was not the best. I was a decent player, but I wasn't the best player. And I was like, well, if I want to go Division I and get drafted and make the NFL, then I'm going to have to be I'm a damn good athlete. So I better start working out, which is when I was, I think, 11 years old. I got my first weight set. And the old Sears weight set with the sand-filled weights, and started working out every single day. And I did that for 5-6 years. And then senior year of high school, I got Division III and Division II offers, and I realized that I probably wasn't going to make the NFL. And I loved going to the gym. I loved the process. I went solely because of sports, never because I wanted to attract the opposite sex, actually. Because I was 270 pounds senior year of high school, because my whole goal was to make the NFL. And I was big. I was strong as an ox, but I was also a very big dude. And it was just all about lifting weights, playing football. And when I realized I wasn't going to make it, I decided then and there that the best way to make it in the NFL would to be a coach. So those who can't teach. And I went to school actually to be engineer originally. I got into UMass Amherst for engineering, and I decided real quick that when I was in land surveying and properties of concrete and trying not to kill myself, that I went to a kinesiology degree instead for exercise science. And
really? Wait, land surveying? Come on, that sounds like next level stuff. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a fit for me. all I could picture is those guys that stand on the side of the road and look through that orange thing.
Guy, right? Yeah, exactly. You would have been the guy looking at the thing and the other guy holding the stick, and you would have been, dude, that sounds like so much fun. That's so much better, no? Okay.
No.
All right, sorry, I'm interrupting you here.
Wasn't for me. I mean, if you paid me enough, I'd do it, but that's like a lot of things. So I was an exercise science major, and I had started reading T Nation, because T Nation was the website that everyone read back then for their articles for education. And Boyle, Dan John, Cressy, and Robertson were the 4 main authors actually on T Nation at the time, even though none of them write anymore for it. And I was obsessed with everything they were saying. So I was curating my programming personally for myself to what everything Dan John said. So push, pull, carry, Mike Boyle, the joint by joint approach. So I'm going to the college gym and I'm foam rolling, I'm stretching. I have an entire dynamic warm up, which nobody was doing 10 years ago. And I walk in one day and there's this guy foam rolling, and it was a PVC pipe covered in carpet that he had glued on there, and it looked like a cat scratching post. I said to him,
no.
Yeah, I walk up to him, I go, hey, what do you know about foam rolling? And he goes, I interned at Mike Boyle's strength and conditioning last year. And I was like, oh my God, are we going to be best friends? Because from this moment on, I'm training with you. And that happened to be Kevin Carr. And that was my sophomore year of college.
What was he wearing? Brendon, what was he wearing? Can you tell us?
A satin jacket with wind pants. No.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I just remember story. that foam rolling conversation.
The foam rolling.
That's
Dude,
when we really hit it off.
PVC pipe. That's next level.
Yeah. He made his own. So we started training together 4 days a week. He was my TA for a bunch of classes, so I never really had to do anything for class. We'd just go work out. And then after college, he went back to Boyle's, and he had a full-time job there. And I actually applied for the internship at Boyle's for 5 times and never got it. And I came to realize that you had to know somebody at Boyle's, like either be like an athlete that's already gone there, or somebody that knows Coach Boyle, or a parent that knows Mike. And Kevin didn't have any pull at that point and couldn't really get me in. So after the 5th time, I didn't get the internship, and I was working at some crap gym down the road, which I will say was one of the best experiences for me, is to work at another gym first. That was not ideal, because it forced me to learn what I didn't want in a gym and how not to program, because we were forcing people to do things that were not good for the athlete, and the owner was not a very nice person. So it was actually good for me, because I think a lot of people go to Boyle's and they just start there and they live in this bubble that they don't
recognize the struggle.
Right. They don't. They get their clients handed to them. Their groups are full. The programming's amazing. Everyone there is very nice. So it's actually good for people to start probably in a different place, or at least do those 2 things simultaneously. So Kevin eventually got me on an email with Coach Boyle. And if anyone knows anything about Coach Boyle, when you email him, they're all less than 3 words. No sentence is over 3 words that he'll email you back. So I sent Mike this essay about my life story and why I wanted to work there and can I have an internship? And Mike just messages me back, oh yeah, come in on Tuesday. That was it. So I go in and I'm one of 3 interns. And within the next month, it was pretty difficult. The other 2 quit because it was too much work. So I'm there by myself, the only intern. I'm busting my ass. And then just happened that somebody got fired for various reasons. And all their clients were sitting there and they didn't have anyone to train with. And Bob, the business guy, was like, hey, do you want to come in at 6 a.m. on Monday morning? I'll pay you $20. Because I was the only person that was available. So I actually started working at the gym like a month into my internship because of sheer luck, but also being ready for the opportunity because I had been working like that. I had been programming like Boyle and I had been working at another gym. So I was ready for the opportunity. And just from there, well, now Kevin and I are working together over the next 3 years. The turnover rate's high at Boyles because everyone moves on to something else because it's a nice stepping stone to your next career move. And then within 2 or 3 years, I was like senior tenure at Boyles, only being there for almost 2 years. And Kevin and I were kind of neck and neck and working together to manage the gym. And then him and I saw this need for manual work because we were sending out all our clients for muscular issues and massage therapy, acu, stuff like that. And we're like, why are we sending this stuff out? We need to get our hands on people. But as a strength coach, you don't have the license to do that. So we went to massage school and we did that for, 18 months, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, full days, while working between 40 and 60 hours a week at Boyles, just busting our ass. We took that and Boyles expanded, doubled in size, and we got offices next door when we bought the second bay. And we said to Mike and Bob, like Kevin and I were like, hey, we want to start our own company and do massage stuff that's combined with training. And we just agreed to pay them a certain percentage of each massage session. And Mike and Bob were like, sure, whatever the hell you want. You're going to give us money? Great, we're in. So we paid them. They let us open Movement as Medicine. And the name Movement as Medicine comes from Kevin and I were sitting in one of our classes, and one of our teachers was studying diabetes. And of course, the study was exactly what you thought it would be, that movement decreases A1C levels and makes you less likely to be diabetic or helps diabetes. And the name of the article was Movement as Medicine. And you can actually, if you Google it right now, you Google Movement as Medicine -UMass Amherst, and the article's still there. And I turned to Kevin, I said, that's going to be the name of our gym someday, Movement as Medicine. And I was 19 years old. I was reading Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It book, all about blogging and videos. And so I had my first blog when I was 18, which was, if you go back now, I deleted it so that no one can read it. But if you go back, it's just me posting my workouts and how I felt that day. Oh, it's so embarrassing. It's like when you see your old.
Isn't that the best when you
when your old Facebook memories pop up from like 2007? It's like going to the bathroom and eating a sandwich. Like no one gives a shit.
Like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I should never have done that.
So it was, the blog was a collection of Kevin and I's workouts and how I felt that day, and if like the Patriots lost a football game, and it was ridiculous. But I will say I did start one, and it did turn into something which is now what everyone sees as Movement is Medicine and our Instagram account, because our Instagram account is basically just blogs that we then use on our website and stuff. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how Movement is Medicine started. That's how I got started in the industry. That's how I got to Boyles. And CFSC started 2 years after we had started Movement is Medicine. people had always asked Mike to start a certification for years and years. And Mike's like, nah, like Mike didn't want to put all the work that goes into that. And so now I'm at Boyles for almost 4 or 5 years. And Mike now had Kevin and I who could help build this thing out. And Mike's like, well, if you guys want to put in the work and build the content and do the teaching, then I'll put my name on it and I'll go to the first one and tell everyone that it's good. And then you guys can go around and teach it and I'll continue to promote it. And so that's kind of how CFSC started. Was people wanted Mike's programming, his systems, and he had been writing all those books, but Mike just didn't. I mean, Mike's I think 58, 59 now, and he just didn't want to put in the work that involves all the traveling. And now I think we have 11 coaches that teach it, and we'll do around 1,200 certifications this year. And obviously Vasa being one of our big places that we go to every year. And I brought this up at the level 1 and level 2, or level 1 that I taught last weekend, and the stability WOD is, I am very, very impressed with Vasa's. Even just in 2 years, you can see the change happening, and the people who want to be on the bus are on the bus, and they come to all the educational events, and they're watching this right now, and they'll watch this later. So it's really, really cool to see the people that should be and want to be on the bus, and then the other people who get off the bus that are holding everyone else back. But it's huge, because if I would assume that if Vasa had stayed as they were and kept going down the same track, you would just be filtering through trainer after trainer after trainer, and now you have people that are actually looking at this as a career move, and that you can actually make a career out of training people. Whereas I think people always ask me, like, what have I seen change in the last 10 years, and where do I think the next 10 years are going? And I always ask people in my courses, I say, I want a raise of hands of people who know at least 5 trainers who have retired as career trainers. They did 30 years of training and then retired. It doesn't exist. So I asked Coach Boyle this question. Coach Boyle knows only 2 people, or 2 strength coaches, that did it for more than 30 years and retired as strength coaches. Because everyone knows people who retired as businessmen and women, as being part of whatever, the church, a company, like 30 years, 40 years of that, and they retire. But nobody knows any trainers that have. And I see the next 10, 20, 30 years as a lot of people now retiring as trainers and being very, very proud of that. And I like to personally think that the CFSC and myself are part of that process and getting people excited about making this a career, and that you can do it as a career for the rest of your life.
No, I completely agree with you. I think the one thing that you guys have provided is a system, right? And a system for people. I think that's where a lot of people struggle, and why they get burned out is because they're constantly having to reinvent and constantly having to do things. And so I think you guys have provided a very simple solution, a very simple system that gets results and can help people in a number of different ways, not just from a fat loss standpoint or a weight gain standpoint, but, in a number of different, movements and tons of different ways. One thing I wanted to point out, Brendon, before we move on to the next thing is when I listen to you talk about, all the stuff you went through, looking at, from the time you met Kevin to going to Boyle to interviewing, 5 times, applying 5 times, for the internship, and then going through massage school and all that stuff. The main thing is just work and persistence, right? You look at, your track record and CFSC, movement is medicine, all these different things that you guys have done, all the different blogs and interviews and all different things, it come down to those 2 things, in my opinion, looking at, the last 10 years, and so I just wanted to point that out. Kudos to you. Great job, buddy. It doesn't just happen, you know? It didn't just happen. A lot of people think it just happens, right?
It really is a 10-year overnight success. People say that all the time. Like, it was just, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. There's a lot of luck that goes into it, but also being ready for the opportunity by just working hard and moving on to the next thing, and also not being afraid to sometimes take a step back to move forward, which I think a lot of people have a hard time doing. Thank you.
For sure. So one thing I to follow up on kind of the stuff I was thinking about this as you were talking, what was it like working for Boyle?
Ooh.
Like, what would give us that? Come on, Brendon, come on, give us some good stuff. Don't give us that. Oh, it's great, I love it. Come on, give us something good here.
Well, I mean, I told you straight up who my favorite Vasa person is, so don't think I'm going to hold back here.
I appreciate it.
No, so working for Mike, especially when you're younger, he's a father figure just due to the age difference. You're also scared to death of him when you're younger. As you go through the process and you're 3 or 4 years in, you realize that he's completely harmless, and that if he's on your side, then you're golden. You don't have anything to worry about. But when you're younger, though, it's funny. You're doing something that you know you might not should be doing, and all of a sudden he walks into the gym. You're like, oh my God, Mike's here! All right, everyone, batten down the hatches. Stop curling. Stop doing triceps.
Didn't you guys? Weren't you guys power cleaning or something? There was some movement you guys would always do when he wasn't in the gym. I can't remember what it was. Kevin was telling me one time. It was like power cleaning and back squats or something. I can't remember. Anyway.
Well, Kevin was back squatting at one point because he was going to do a powerlifting meet, but he would always do it around Mike's schedule. And Mike came in one day, of course, caught him, and was like, "You're an idiot." And then Kevin actually got hurt the next week and had to miss a whole week of work. And Mike's just like, Mike comes in and just goes, "I told you so."
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the end of Kevin's back squatting career. So yeah, you're young and dumb. You think you know what you're doing, and then you realize what I tell everyone is like So when I left Boyles, I went and did a bunch of the stuff that I hadn't been doing because I wasn't allowed to do it because of the system that we had, which is there's a reason why there's a system, because as soon as you leave,
I remember you saying, when you left the house, you kind of messed around a little bit.
Right. When you get to college, you mess around a little bit. So I left and I did a couple things. I was like, oh, that's exactly why Mike bans it from the gym, because the shit hit the fan and now I'm going to eat it. So he's right all the time, and it makes you so mad. It's like when your parents tell you not to do something and you go and do it and you're like, damn it, they told me not to do that, but I don't want them to know that I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, he's always right. And it's when you're younger, it's nerve-wracking because he's always right there, but you never want to admit that he's right. And he's right. So now I'm like, I'm just going to listen to everything that he has to say, because he's been doing it 35 years.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And also, the other thing about Mike you need to know is he's obviously done this a very long time, and if anyone's heard him speak, he's an incredible public speaker. And that's obviously from 30 years of doing it. But I've never, ever once seen him mess up on a video in a public talk. If he does mess up, he's very, very good at rolling with the punches. But as you know, if you make a video, you like, oh, that was shit. Delete. You'll make a video and you'll delete it 10 times. He does it on the first take every single time. Never seen him screw up. It's incredible.
Really?
Interviews. Yeah. Like
really?
Live TV, never have I once ever seen him mess up. And I'm very, very impressed of that, and I would love to get to that point. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the coaches had a good one. You've been coaching for a long time. Okay, what is your favorite part of coaching, and what's your least favorite? The thing you hate.
I think I'm probably on the same boat with most people as you. I think we all love seeing the process and somebody put it together and kind of transform themselves. I think that's why a lot of us got into this ourselves, is because of the process, and you can see the continual progress and the hard work that goes into it, and changing somebody's mindset about exercise. And people that generally are like, listen, I just got to be here so I don't die early or die young, not because I want to be here. And then they end up loving the process, and now you have somebody that's going to be with you for life. The other thing that I love as a teacher is seeing other people succeed, which I guess is what puts me in this mentor position, because the better everyone else gets, the better the industry gets, the more people that everyone else can help, the more people that I can help. It's just this tree that starts to trickle out. That's really what drives me when I teach. And I also think of myself as a teacher for my clients, because I really would prefer that you graduate from personal training with me and into a group or into something else what you actually want to do. So when I start with people, it's obviously their goals, but I try to get to their why, that they're there. And I tell them straight up, like, listen, I want you to graduate from training with me. And yes, you can train with me 1 or 2 days a week, but I think you should graduate to something else. Say, you want to run a half marathon. Okay, great. I'm going to graduate you from your strength training program so that you have the working tools that go into what you need to do in order to stay healthy to run a half marathon. That's just an example, but I always think of myself as a teacher first. The thing I don't like about training,
that's awesome,
is honestly, because of my ADD, it's the one-on-one stuff. And that's why I try to graduate people, because after...
Do you train people one-on-one still, Brendon?
I do, because I'm trying to...
Wow,
I'm trying to grow something bigger, but I do train one-on-one. It can be my issue is that after about 12 sessions.
Why? Can I ask why?
So about 12 sessions, you just become a psychologist. There's no more programming to really be done, because they know they come in and they grab their foam roller. They know what stretches they're going to do. We're going to do the same exercises we've been doing, because that's how you get better at them, with just a little bit more weight or external load. So you get to a point where it's just now a one-on-one session. I much prefer to do groups, because you have a lot of temperatures you can go around and talk to this person, help that person, talk to this person. For my ADD, it's much, much better to just be on the move and keeping busy. Whereas like one-on-one, I feel myself just standing, looking at that person and staring at them, even though it's the same stuff we've been doing. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, that's my other
so that's
issue.
The least favorite. Okay.
Yeah, that's my least favorite, is the one-on-one stuff.
I agree.
Gets old, but
I can't even believe you'd still do it, though. I mean, good for you.
I do. Well, I mean, as we all know, some people need one-on-one to at least start. My issue is the people that want to rely on it, and that's all they do 2 days a week for an hour, which is why I said I want to be a teacher. I want to educate them, because my goal is that they work out 4 to 5 days a week, and they just see me the 1 or 2 days a week as like a refresher.
And they're coming to see you with a group of people. Yeah.
Right. So that's, that would be my least favorite part about coaching.
Great. So let me ask you this. So looking at, you've been at Bossa, you had mentioned, you've seen improvement and things of that nature. What do you think, from an outsider looking in, what do you think we need to keep doing? And is there anything we need to stop doing? And what should we start doing? Is there what do we need to keep doing? What do we need to stop doing, in your opinion? We might listen to you, we might not. Okay. And then what do you think we need to do?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think Vasa just needs to keep one, obviously the continuing education stuff and being consistent with it. And also championing those people that do go to everything. And I know you guys have a financial way of, uh, if somebody goes and takes all these courses, they might, or they do, or might get a raise. Um, Almost sending more clients to that person that has done more con ed stuff, giving people the opportunity to present on what they have learned. I think that's important too. So for example, when you guys did the strength summit, you, Thane, RJ, Lane, and Nick all presented something. But I think it's important internally for you to have your other trainers share knowledge. Like if somebody goes to an FRC course with Andrea Spina, they should come back to the group and be like, this is what I learned. This is what I think we can do to use it. Because one, that person now is learning more because they have to teach it. Everyone works on their presenting skills, and then everyone else gains knowledge from that, and it's a nice community thing. So even if you had, like you said, hey, everyone did the CFSC or stability WOD last week, next week everyone's going to get together with a group of 3 or 4 people and go over it, just to keep that stuff fresh. And to do that with every single course, I think would be something that you guys could not force people to do, but really make that an important part of your process. What else?
What should we stop doing, dude? You're giving some good stuff. What should we stop doing?
Okay, well, one thing you guys need to keep doing is, I love that. So when I first came to Vasa, you didn't have any, I don't want to say special, but any like roped off places for your trainers to do their thing, which I love that now all your gyms and that you're building out, and all your old gyms that I used to go to now all have like the team center. They have the cage in the middle. They have turf. So you guys are, so not only are you guys bringing us in to teach everyone how to program and use that stuff, you're also providing the tools that everyone can use now to do actually. Because if you had said to everyone, hey, we're going to do this CFSC stuff, but we're going to do it in this gym with all these machines, it would be really hard to run the CFSC program. So you're giving them this education, but you're not giving them the opportunity to use it, which I love that Vasa has done that and will continue to do. I mean, I'm guessing, especially as you open up new places, you probably are allotting more space for that.
Yeah, no, our most recent location in Westminster, half the gym, literally half the gym is turf, cage, team room. That's half the internal space. It's huge.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's awesome.
That's exactly what needs to happen as you guys continue to move along. I understand though that from a business model, having the machines and stuff gets people in the door, and that allows you guys to do all your other stuff, because the membership fees that come in monthly from a business standpoint keep the doors open. And as we know, there's a lot of gyms that open up that are just training only that don't last very long because of that reason. They just can't reach their overhead because they just don't have the volume that's needed. What needs to stop happening? This is a good question.
Be honest, Brendon. Come on, be honest. Don't hold back. Come on, you've been honest with us the whole time.
I have. I was gonna say that you guys need to stop hiring duds, but the only way to know that is to bring the duds in.
I know we had a little bit of a dud session a while ago, but it sounds like last week went well.
Last week went very well. We didn't have one person fail the written exam out of 55
Dude.
people.
So no duds.
No duds. We had no duds last weekend. So
no scrubs. No scrubs.
No scrubs. But the thing is when you guys hire the volume that you have, you need the duds in order, like the CFSC, and then watching them train and then putting them in front of the group. those duds get weeded out, and that's part of the maybe. I know Nick is working on this, the internship program. Not that your guys are bad at it. It's just I think it's new for you guys, right? The internship process.
We've only been doing it a couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. So
for sure.
Bringing on interns is something that's or at least the process of bringing them on, educating them, and then deciding if they're a good fit or not. Instead of just bringing on everyone, which I love the internship as a 90-day interview process. It's good for everybody because that person also gets to decide if this is something that they want to do for the next 90 days, which helps you weed out anyone who's not interested or not fit for the job.
Let me ask you this on speaking of internships, when you went through Boyle's internship, what was kind of, if you could kind of boil it down to 2 or 3 things of like, hey, look, these are the things that I thought like, hey, these were the things that really helped me.
Yep.
You know, what would you say were the big things from your experience? Or even, you know, when you guys were doing it later on as you were conducting internships and stuff like that.
So as an intern, personally, as an intern, number one is doing all of the shit work. I guess that's just because that's me, and I was willing to do the trash and clean the mirrors and get there early and stay late. I was willing to do all that stuff as an intern. 2, it's willing to do the outside stuff, which is the Con Ed. I know you love this, RJ. When I get asked what are the top 3 things you can do as a beginner trainer, it's spend 20% of your income on continuing education courses. So everyone asks me like, how did I get so smart and how'd you learn so much? It's because my first 3 to 5 years of working at Boyles, I spent 20% of my money. So that means if you made $50,000,
I spent a crap load in the first 5 years.
Yeah, $10,000 a year.
I don't know how many. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I get it. I know people have families; they have that, but at least spending a certain amount of your budget on Con Ed, because you end up making that money back in the long term. You don't see it now, but you'll see it in 10, 20, 30 years. And then number 2 is to train everyone and everything. And I always tell people that if Mike Boyle had said train the trash can, I would have trained the shit out of that trash can. Like that trash can would be ripped if I got my hands on it. So train everyone, everything. Train your friends, train your dog, train your parents, train whatever. Youth, old, it can only make you better. It can only help you.
How quickly do you guys get into training? Like right out of the gate, or do you shadow for like a week or 2?
You go through the process as if you were an athlete for a week, and then we will throw you kind of into the fire and see if you sink or swim. The hard part at Boyles is that in the summertime we have so much volume and so many athletes that we almost have to throw people into the fire and like see who can do it and who can't. Fall and spring we can
make it work.
Yeah, we had fall and spring. We have a little bit more leeway and not as many people, so we can actually groom those people that are coming for the internship a little bit more. And there's a little bit more learning and stuff. But you get to a point as the internship coordinator, you realize who has it and who doesn't have it, and what it is, I don't know, but there's a personality aspect.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got it. You either got it or you don't.
Right. So, and I will tell you right now, when Kevin and I both started, we did not have it. And Boyle always used Kevin as an example.
It can be developed. It can be developed.
Yes, it can be developed. So don't just think you're born with it. But Coach Boyle uses Kevin all the time. Like, Kevin did his internship when he was 19 or 20. And Mike always says that, when Kevin came in, like, I didn't think he was very good. I was like, how'd we let that kid come back for another summer? Like, are we paying him? Or is he working for free? And it can be developed because Kevin was very quiet. He didn't have that projection, that voice that you want to hear from a coach, and like, it can be developed. So don't just think that you have it or don't have it. But it's at the time.
Let me ask you guys. Go ahead.
So when I'm objectively looking at, I have 90 days to try to hire someone and I have 20 people to choose from, I have to choose those people who have it. And we've had tons of people that come back a year or two later, and then we can give them a job because they've went somewhere else where they've had to learn how to do those things and had to sell. And so the other thing as the internship coordinator we do is the number one thing I do to start is we have them submit a 3-minute YouTube video about why they want to work at Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning. And number one is do not send it to me in a Word file or a MP4 file on an email. I specifically said YouTube. So this is part of the weeding out process, is if you can't make a YouTube video and submit it through YouTube. So it's a test.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you savvy enough?
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't take rocket science.
I see where your head's at.
Yep.
Yep.
So we weed people out like that. And then I want to see how much effort you put into the YouTube video. Because I can't tell you the number of people that have sent me a video of them sitting in their underwear late at night with their MacBook and they're reading. I can see them reading from the screen. They have it up on their computer.
Thing they wrote up.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, you can go on YouTube and just type in MBSC internship and see some of these things, because they did not unlist them, which is the other thing I look for. But then I have saved the best ones. We have people that spend almost 20, 30, 40 hours cutting video. They're hilarious. They're well done. And like, well, what do you think that person's, what do you think they're going to do when they come in for their internship?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're going to get after it
right away. That person's going to put in the work. So like we do this weeding out process even before they come in. And then when you come in, I want to see, do you come early? Do you stay late? How hard do you work? Will you take out the trash? Do you bitch and complain? Do you sit down? Do you cross your arms? What's your body language like? How interested are you in learning? Do you ask questions? So I mean, it's almost things you would look for at any job.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's just common for fitness. It's any job you would have. How do they work with the team? Stuff like that.
So let me ask you this. So let's take the Kevin Carr example. Yep. He walks in the door, doesn't have it. Now he does.
Right.
What happens? Is there some type of development process on that? Is it just a sink or swim thing? Is it what?
Well,
what is it?
Right. I can tell you that. So our internship coordinator, Kevin and I, Nicole Rodriguez, she's a fireball is the only way I can describe her. She is now the head of education at Exos. She took Nick Winkleman's old job, but she was on us, and she would stand behind Kevin and she would be like, louder, 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 because he's so quiet. Nobody could hear anything he was saying. So Kevin had to.
So she would just sit behind him, boy. So she would just sit behind him and go louder, louder.
Yeah. And she was our mentor. So it's one being willing to suck at something, and then have somebody mentor you or help you, and then taking that advice is.
I heard another one that Mike would on getting guys to coach concisely. He would count to 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would start counting down.
If you were coaching, he would start counting down in his head, right? Or what would he do again? I'm trying to remember.
Well, so he would start counting down in his head from 20, and then he would be like 9, 8, 7.
Oh yeah, if they couldn't
6,
explain it, yeah, that's right. If they couldn't explain the workout in 20 seconds, yeah, that's right.
But he would stand behind you while you were coaching, but you were giving a lecture, and he would just start counting out loud, and you knew that you better shut up and just go.
Well, and the one thing, and perfect example of that is about 6 months ago or so, maybe I might be a little rough on the timeline, but we made a conscious effort, and we need to maybe do it again and talk about it again more, but we have been, I shouldn't say that. Anyways, getting in the cage as a head trainer and as a head coach, as a master trainer, and doing exactly what you're talking about, right? Sitting behind guys and, hey, louder, or, hey, why are you doing this with this person? And actually getting in and coaching with them. And I've seen a huge difference in coaching as I've just visited gyms and watched guys over the last 6 months even.
Yeah, and that might be one of the things that, like we were talking, like part of your internship process and part of your weeding out process for anyone who might be a dud, to get those people off the bus and the right people on the bus. That might be part of your process now is and then almost you also put yourself in a position to be a mentor or to be a teacher as well with your head trainers to get people to, and then you get to see who takes your advice and does it and who just ignores you completely. And so Kevin was one of those people that took the advice and just kept getting better and working hard, and lo and behold, they kept having him come back each summer. And then again, you get to a point like you're there for 3 years and you realize, holy shit, like I'm senior here. Like I've been here longer than anyone else, and I'm kind of in a position of I've experienced a lot of these things, and now people are coming to me as a head trainer or as a head coach. So it's just like anything else, you work hard, you stay put for a little bit while, and you suffer and struggle, and you learn from those things. You eventually get put in a position where like, oh shit, like I have some power here and some influence on the way the gym runs, on the program, on the way people learn and teach. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. So to be respectful to your time, I want to just finish with one more question. What makes you tick, Brendon? Why, you got all this stuff that you're doing, CFSC, you're reading all these books, you're doing all this stuff. Why are you doing it? What makes you tick?
I want to go to the grave using up every single cell in my body. I want to be the ugliest corpse in the cemetery. That is my goal. Ugliest. I want to just, I don't want to drive myself into the ground, but I don't want to go to the grave saying I could have, should have, I should have experienced that, I should have done that. That's why I enjoy the process of being an entrepreneur and starting things. I enjoy the process of helping other people and being a mentor. I enjoy the process of seeing how much I can learn, which is why I read so much, and connecting dots, and all of those things kind of work together. And I love traveling. I never want to go through a day and be like, man, I should have done that. I should have done this. Like, I'm wasting my time here. On a side note there, I am not type A, I am type AAA. So my brain never shuts off, and I'm just always going. So it can be a curse as well sometimes, but
a curse and a blessing.
A curse and a blessing. So that's my goal, is to be the most used up corpse in the
ugliest.
The ugliest corpse in the
Dude,
cemetery.
I love that. I love that, man. And that, his Instagram handle is collect moments, not things. Right. But, Brendon, appreciate your time. I also need to thank Nick for, getting this set up for us. Thank you very much, Nick. Also, Ashley provided a bunch of questions. Ashley provided a bunch of questions for us. Thanks to those guys as well.
You,
Brendon, you're a good man. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me,
Godspeed.
RJ. Thanks for having
wrapping
me,
up episode. Hey, thank you. Great stuff, man. I got tons of notes. I got like 4 pages of notes here.
You got work to do,
Thank
my
you.
friend.
And I still love you, even though you're my second favorite too.
Dude, I mean, I can't believe Thane. Really, Thane? I can't. Of all people.
I
That's
knew that answer. I knew that answer would get you guys going. I knew it. It's gonna be we're gonna be talking about this for the next 10 years.
Coaches coaching. See you guys.
See ya.